My topic of today's discussion is how to use Clapeyron's three-moment theorem without using bending moment diagrams. Now we know that to analyze statically indeterminate beams, we use Clapeyron's three-moment theorem, but for that we make use of bending moment diagrams. But it is always not that we should use bending moment diagrams. Without using bending moment diagrams also, we can analyze the statically indeterminate beam by Clapeyron's three-moment theorem. So for that, I have taken an example of a two-span continuous beam ABC such that span AB of length 6 meter is carrying a UDL of 10 kilonewton per meter. Now I am calling this span as L1 for my convenience. Span BC of length 4 meter is carrying a point load of 5 kilonewton at the center. So I am calling this span as L2. Now first I will demonstrate how to use Clapeyron's three-moment theorem by using bending moment diagrams, and then I will demonstrate in my second part. I will demonstrate how to obtain the answers not by using bending moment diagram. So let us start. Now we know that Clapeyron's three-moment theorem is applicable for two consecutive spans. So here I am considering two consecutive spans A, B, B, C. Therefore, I will write Clapeyron's three-moment theorem as MA L1 plus 2MB L1 plus L2 plus MC L2 is equal to minus 6 A1 X1 bar by L1 plus A2 X2 bar by L2. So this is the Clapeyron's three-moment theorem for span ABBC or for a pair of spans ABBC. Now let us see what is this A1 X1 bar and all. One more thing let me tell, that I assumed that moment of inertia for the whole beam is same. That means I1 and I2, they both are same, and therefore that moment of inertia term doesn't appear here. Now let us see what is meant by A1 X1 bar, all that. So for that, what I have to do is I will draw free bending moment diagram or span bending moment diagram. That means I will consider AB as a separate simply supported beam. Now we know from strength of materials that for a simply supported beam carrying UDL, the maximum bending moment at the center is WL square by 8. So if I take WL square by 8, it is 10 into 6 square by 8. It becomes 45 kilonewton meter if you calculate it. Now here again for span BC, considering it as simply supported, the span moment, the maximum bending moment will occur under this point load, and we know that for the central point load it is WL by 4. So it is 5 into 4 by 4, again it is 5 only. So it is 5 kilonewton meter. Now this diagram is 1 and this I will call it as 2. Now both the diagrams are symmetrical because of the symmetrical load, and therefore here it becomes 3 meter. Here it is 3 meter because total is 6 meter. Here it is 2 meter and 2 meter because total is 4 meter. Now this is called as mu diagram or free bending moment diagram. That means I am considering AB and BC as a separate simply supported spans. Of course, imaginarily they are not separate spans. It is a continuous beam only, but just for this one approach. Now what is A1 and what is X1 bar? X1 bar is nothing but the distance of centroid for figure number 1 from the extreme point, extreme left point, that is A. So this is X1 bar. Similarly, X2 bar is nothing but centroid of figure number 2 from C. So in Clapeyron's three-moment theorem, we should never measure the centroid distance from the common point. We should always measure from extreme points. Of course, here it doesn't make any difference even by mistake we measure from common point also, then it will not change the answer because of the symmetry, because here also it is 3 meter 3 meter, here also it is 2 meter 2 meter, but that is not the case in every problem, because many times the loads are not symmetrical, and in that case the students have to remember that A is the reference point for figure number 1 and C is the reference point for figure number 2 for measuring x1 bar and x2 bar respectively. Now substituting these values in the equation which I had written. So let us start. So it was MA L1. So L1 is 6. So it is 6 MA. That is MA L1 plus 2 MB L1 plus L2. That is 6 plus 4. It is 10 plus MC L2. So it is 4 MC because L2 is 4 is equal to minus 6 A1 x1 bar by L1. So A1 means area of this convex parabola. We know that symmetrical parabola or even unsymmetrical. So if it is convex, it is 2/3 base into height. That is, it is A1 into x1 bar is already 3 meter divided by L1. L1 is 6 plus A2 x2 bar by L2. So area, that is triangle half, base is 4, height is 5 and x2 bar is 2 meter divided by L2, that is 4. Now we know that A and C, they are extreme simple supports, and therefore moment at A is also 0 and moment at C is also 0. So since bending moment at A and bending moment at C, they are 0, straight away I can say that this term is 0 and this term is 0. And therefore I am left with 10 into 2 MB is equal to this term. And therefore when I solve, let us see what happens. When I solve, MB becomes minus 28.5 kilonewton meter. So once I get MB, I can write it like this: minus 28.5, that is hogging moment at B, that is at the support. So its value is 28.5 kilonewton meter. So bending moment at A is 0, already have seen it. Bending moment at C is 0, and therefore once I get bending moment at B and I know the loading, now the beam is no more indeterminate. Now it's a determinate problem because we calculated the bending moment at B. Now by applying the equilibrium equations, or you can say conditions of equilibrium, we can easily calculate reaction at A, reaction at B, reaction at C. We can draw shear force diagram as well as bending moment diagram. So this is one approach, but in this approach you have to draw bending moment diagram, then you have to calculate A1, x1 bar and all those things. So instead of that, let us see, is there any alternative way of arriving at the same result by using Clapeyron's three moment theorem. So see what difference I do here, or just see what is my approach. So here again I'll try to write the Clapeyron's three moment theorem for this A, B, B, C. Now here it is again MAL1 plus 2 MB L1 plus L2 plus MCL2. Now by bending moment diagram approach, I had written minus 6 A1 x1 bar by L1 plus A2 x2 bar by L2, but now I will not write that. Now what I will do here, left hand side I have written same as the previous approach, but right hand side what I will do, it is minus L1 MF AB, that is fixed end moments or fixed end moment at A for span AB, plus 2 times of MF BA, where MFBA is fixed end moment at B considering span BA minus L2 to MFBC, that is MFBC is fixed end moment at B for span BC plus MFCB. So here MA L1 plus 2 MB L1 plus L2 plus MCA is equal MCL2 is equal to minus L1 MFAB plus 2 times MFBA minus L2 2 times MFBC plus 1 time MFCB. Now here let us calculate the fixed end moments, that is MFAB, MFBA, MFBC and MFCB, and let us see what happens. Now considering span AB separately, carrying UDL of 10 kilonewton per meter, length is 6 meter. Now we know that because of this 10 kilonewton per meter, the beam is trying to bend like this, and therefore here the fixed end moment will be anti-clockwise and here the fixed end moment will be clockwise, so that they are opposing the tendency of bending. Now here we know that it is again a standard case. Of course it can be derived, but that is not my scope of discussion here, so we will take it as a standard case directly as one of the inputs. So here we know that when a beam carries UDL, then fixed end moment is WL square by 12. So it is 10 into 6 square by 12. So when I take 10 into 6 square by 12, it becomes 30 kilonewton meter. So anti-clockwise 30 kilonewton meter, and here it is plus WL square by 12, so it is again 30 kilonewton meter. Similarly, considering span BC, carrying a point load of 5 kilonewton at the center, total span is 4 meter. Now again this beam will try to bend like this, and therefore your fixed end moments will be like this, MFBC, MFCB. So again using the standard case, it is WL by 8. So it is 5 into 4 by 8. So 5 into 4 by 8 is again 2.5 kilonewton meter minus WL by 8 plus WL by 8. So it is again 2.5 kilonewton meter. Now here it is anti-clockwise 30 kilonewton meter, it is clockwise 30 kilonewton meter. Here it is anti-clockwise 2.5 kilonewton meter, here it is clockwise 2.5 kilonewton meter. Now we will remember it and we will try to substitute it in the equation which I had just told you. What is that? Again, MAL1, so it is 6 MA plus 2 MB L1 plus L2, that is 6 plus 4 10 plus MCL2, that is 4 MC, is equal to minus 6, that is minus L1 into bracket, what I had written was MFAB. So MFAB was 30, but here you don't have to use minus, only have to use magnitude. Don't use the minus sign. Anti-clockwise you take minus and clockwise plus, but here only use the magnitude, that is 30 plus 2 times of MFBA. So 2 times of 30 again, because here also it is 30, minus L2, that is minus 4, 2 times of MFBC, that is 2 into 2.5, plus MFCB, that is again 2.5. But again take care that 2.5 here is anti-clockwise and here it is clockwise. but don't use minus here. Here also at both the places you use plus. Now in this lecture my scope is not to tell how this is derived. This can be easily derived by using the basic approach of slope deflection method, that is MAL1 plus 2MBL2 plus MCL2 is equal to minus 6 MFAB plus 2 times of MFBA minus 4 2 times of MFBC plus MFCB. So this equation can be derived from fundamentals by using the slope deflection equation approach, but that I will cover maybe in my next video. Here directly I have used that input to demonstrate to the students that we don't have to use the bending moment diagram. Now again when I again solve it, again MA it is 0 because it is simply supported end, MC it is 0, and again we solve, when we solve, that is 10 into 2 MB is equal to this. Again we get the value of MB as same, that is minus 28.5 kilonewton meter. So when I solve this equation, again you can solve it and you can confirm it is again minus 28.5 kilonewton meter. So in my first approach also, that is when I used the bending moment diagrams for span AB and BC, then also the answer was minus 28.5. And here when I created the Clapeyron's three moment theorem by taking help of slope deflection equations, then also the answer is same. But here the second approach is simple as per my personal opinion, because here we completely avoid drawing those bending moment diagrams and unnecessarily calculating those A1 X1 bar and all those things, of course. But in second method you should be well versed with all the fixed end moment values, or at least you should know how to derive for fixed end moments. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate to the students, that there is not a unique way in structural engineering in general and in structural analysis in particular of approaching any problem. There are a number of ways. Whatever is the easy and comfortable, you can always adopt in your general structural analysis course whenever you study that. And therefore that is what my aim was, to demonstrate how the Clapeyron's three moment theorem can be applied to an indeterminate beam without using bending moment diagrams. Thank you very much.